Hey, it's Friday, which means it's the People Like You podcast. My name is Emmanuel Osiseri, your online personal trainer and wellness coach. And today I met a very special guest, Miss Yesmin. So me and Yesmin, we've known each other for a little while now through my girlfriend Clarissa. And she's actually pregnant. And so this is kind of perfect that it lands on Mother's Day weekend. And Yesmin's going to go ahead and tell us a little bit about herself and where she's at right now. So.
All right. Well, there's lots of different places to begin. Definitely been active my whole life, but when it comes to the pregnancy, it's been a little tough keeping my athletic or exercising going. But definitely walking is a big thing that I try and do every day. Walking as much as I can, or adding more hours or minutes to my day, because it's very important. As the bigger I get, the more tight I can feel my body getting, which is not very fun to feel. You're
right.
Like, picking up those pencils aren't fun anymore, putting on your shoes.
Right. So, first of all, congratulations. How many months are you now?
Thank you. I am 18 weeks, so 18. In my 5th month.
5th month. Nice. My sister's actually pregnant as well, too.
Aww.
She's 7 months.
Ooh, she's ready to go almost.
I know. It's awesome. So you were telling me how you never were a big weightlifter, right? You did more of the cardio base. I know you played soccer at CSUB here at the local college. And so what was your routine before you got pregnant?
So a lot of it was based off of sports. Very athletic person. I didn't like the gym, was never raised in the gym until I hit college. So a lot of it came from just being active from sports. Aside from soccer, growing up, once I hit high school, I did cross country, and I also did swim, which I loved. You can feel the calories you're burning when you're in the water, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot in college is when I got more into lifting, and if I do any, it's mostly for my legs. Women always want to have good legs. Right. I don't know why men don't think the same, but it was a lot just more leg lifting, lunges, things like that to work that out. So I was pretty good at getting a routine and going about 3 or 4 times a week, and I still play soccer, so I'd get my cardio on Sundays.
Right. And your husband plays soccer too?
Yes.
Nice. So you said cross country, swimming, and soccer, or?
Yeah, cross country, swimming, and soccer. Yeah.
Okay, so those are all high endurance activities. So. Yes. On the nutrition standpoint, I know it's a lot. I know it's carb loading, right? It's just kind of... Yes,
off and on. Obviously, in high school, you don't really know how to balance your meals, and you're just trying to eat because you're still growing. And it wasn't actually until my senior year I really felt the calories that I was burning and having to replenish those in my system. So once I hit college and cross country gets more rigorous, the routes are more difficult and whatnot, my coach put me on a good balanced meal and snacks. I'll never forget, he told me I could eat popcorn for snacks. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are good go-tos, and just stocking up on fruit. And my mom always had me eating fiber, little did I know.
Nice.
So I got a good metabolism going there.
You know what? I just looked at, because me and Clarissa go shopping on Sundays, and so I try to look for like different snacks and stuff. I have like a snack of the week that I eat with my lunch, and so
cute.
Popcorn is like surprisingly low calories.
I mean, you don't want to get the Act 1 or the Act 2.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I guess depending on the time, because they are loaded with sugar. But like relative to like other things I used to eat, I was very shocked.
Yeah, I was excited because you get tired of eating your nuts or rotating your fruits or things like that. So when he said popcorn, I was like, I'm sold. Right. You got popcorn every night.
Right. So how's your regular eating guidelines right now? Or I'm sorry, no, before and then right now.
So before I actually, so after college, starting at the age of 5, playing soccer and going all the way up until 22, I fell off the bandwagon a little in my diet and exercising. I was just exhausted. So many years of doing it, I decided to take a break. And that's when I noticed everybody else picking up. And I was like, no, I should be working out with everybody. So it took me a couple years, actually. I gained about 20 pounds, 25 pounds, wasn't really happy with myself at all at a certain point, and decided to finally go on, I guess a pre-keto diet, because I've learned a lot of days that what I'm doing now is more keto. But it was tough for me. So I joined soccer again, and that was routine. Then it took me, after soccer, about 2 to 3 years to finally get back in the gym routinely, about 4 days a week. And then aside from that, I started cutting carbs out of my diet. I went into the, meat, eggs, and cheese diet to really, restrict myself. Found out I was a very bored eater, and that's where all my weight gain was coming from. Because when I'm bored, which is a lot of the times,
for sure,
I'm just, what can I snack on? Let's go to the store.
Guilty as charged.
So that was a journey for me. A year of trying to diet, unsuccessful. About 3 months of dieting that keto-ish, pre-keto diet, and I went back down to 150, 145.
Wow.
So I was at 165. I was about to hit 170, and I said, no, I'm done. So
nice. So for the sake of our listeners that aren't familiar with keto diet, I know I've done the paleo diet before just to kind of try it out. I know it's similar. Can you kind of explain what the keto diet is?
So keto ideally is low carbs and low sugar.
Right.
So I cut that out. I cut carbs and sugars out completely when I realized what I was doing. And then after a month, you introduce, your dark green veggies that are good for you. And then after that, you can do certain carbs. So once I was at that 3-4 month mark, I learned how to use like almond flour or your, not regular sugar, but it's the Vita or the green bag. I forget what the green bag is. The Splenda sugar. I still rotated no carbs and sugars in my diet like every other day, or like Tuesdays and Thursdays I would have carbs, or maybe I'd have low carb, maybe corn tortilla. Those are better than flour tortillas in my diet, things like that. Yeah. So ideally keto is low carb and low sugar, and there's stuff out there that you use more, like I said, like the flour almond versus regular flour, things like that you can interchange, or using almond butter versus peanut butter, things like that. Learning to cook with less oil, I didn't realize you only need a little circle of oil to really cook all your food. Chicken, you don't really need oil because of the water when it perspirates and comes out in the pan. You can just cook it with a little butter and you're good. And so learning through all this, we were like, oh gosh, we've been overusing these items that we don't need.
Yeah. How did you, so you said you did it for 3 months, right?
3 months, before I started bringing in my full carbs, kind of.
Okay, so do you kind of use it to transition into it? Or so I guess where I'm trying to get at is, when you started it, do you know you were only going to do it for a couple of months? Or?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, when I started, it was a full cutback for a month, so it's kind of like,
smart,
as people like to say, going rogue or going cold turkey.
Yeah, okay.
Because you really, once I introduced my carbs again for my veggie carbs, and then brought back carbs, I couldn't eat hamburgers with the buns anymore.
Yeah.
You can really feel how heavy those are. I couldn't do fries. So all those things make a difference, but you have to train your body. You have to clean out your system, just like any diet. For
sure. No, that's so. Okay, so for 3 months, you got tired of being heavy, and then you decided to go on a keto for 3 months, cold turkey, and that kind of segued into a more looser diet, or a more
healthier
sustainable
lifestyle?
Sustainable diet. Okay, so from the keto, where did you go from there after 3 months? How did you kind of transition into?
So from there, I was consistent in just watching what I ate. I still didn't eat your chips. I didn't really eat bread anymore. I still didn't eat pastas. Those were so heavy. Cut rice and beans out of my diet. So my husband's kind of on this diet too, which was nice, trying to keep him a little healthy.
Nice.
And if I did, it was keto. I try to do low carb things, or I'm trying to get the whole grain wheat bread if I'm going to eat bread, or I'm going to only do it for breakfast, or I'm going to do it for dinner. So if I have carbs, it's once a day. If I have carbs, and maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's for sure only meat, cheese, and eggs.
Right.
Because it's hard to find a balance when we don't always have the money, to go get all that healthy stuff. That's what's difficult.
No, and you, to that point too, you always have to get creative. I'm a big fan of portion size as well too, so that I know that kind of saves money in the long run for me as well. Yeah. And no, that's cool. I've never really heard of using a diet to segue into a more sustainable. I might have to steal that and even try that out as well.
It worked for me.
I did it. So for me, I did the paleo. Maybe about 5 years ago, I experimented with the paleo, and I knew I wasn't going to do it long term like you. I decided to just do it for a month because I was just curious to see how it would feel. And I have to say, like, my energy level was through the roof.
Really?
Like, yeah.
That's a plus, showing that it works.
Insane. But I know it wasn't sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
so I ended up throwing that out. But to that point, though, so maybe do you do it like 80% still, or the keto diet, or?
Well, after I got married, everyone thought I did it for the wedding, and I didn't.
Right.
I always like to clear that up. Like, no, I was already on this track. I don't care. He's gonna marry me no matter what.
There you go.
But after the wedding, he took me. Where did we? Oh no, we went to Cancun. Never mind. He did actually take me to Mexico, and I ate like 10 tacos every day, and I was so scared I was gonna gain the weight back. That was a year before. So after the wedding, I relaxed a little bit in being so strict.
Right.
And I still have it till today. And because, well, now that I got pregnant, I don't want to be too strict with my diet.
Right.
But I have changed in regarding any snacks that I eat, whether it's, I'm not a big sweet person, which is nice, but if maybe I'm gonna have chips or I'm gonna make a jelly sandwich, I'm gonna rotate that with fruits weekly, things like that. But I do still try and watch my consistencies. Like, I'll still go get the Flying Dutchman from In-N-Out. I'll still eat my hamburgers with no buns if I'm gonna eat, like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Or I'll still have like a hot dog without the bun, things like that, where I can do it. If we don't need mashed potatoes and a macaroni salad, we can just have broccoli and meat. Like, it's fine. Nobody likes that stuff, and you get super bloated anyways.
Smart eating. So I want to touch on something that you said just now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not big on sweets, but I am. And for the sake, just being honest, for this, I actually gotten better. But anyway, for the sake of our listeners, or at least for me, how did you taper off of? Because it's sugar. It's addictive. So how did you kind of taper off from that? How did that happen? What's need help?
I don't know if I have anything for you. Just some people aren't sweet people, and I feel overwhelmed when I have a lot of sugar.
Yes.
I think it's when people have a lot of carbs and you go like in a food coma, supposedly.
Right.
I can't.
Maybe you're just
I can't eat that much sugar.
Maybe you're just sensitive since the keto or something like that. Because when I did,
maybe you should try that. It might have worked for me, but I've only ever been stuck on one sweet at a time. So like, I went through a phase of hot tamales. I went through a phase of Twizzlers, Recesses. I'm not big on chocolate all the time. Maybe if it's like the good chocolate from like See's Candy or something like that. But